Tasha's Hideous laughter. I'm not famous for my pronunciation, so sorry. But I'm guess Tasha's is that dragon that is laughing in the picture. It's a free mana cost 2 blue 1 generic sorcery with each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with a total mana value of 20 or more. Milling has always been a big theme in Magic. They are always trying to give the option for people to mill your opponents to death. But in cEDH, you shouldn't do that because of Underworld Breach. If you mill your opponents, you're feeding them, giving them value, and increasing their potential to win with this combo. But this one works. It's sending the cards into exile means gone forever. Hi Karn. Yeah, cards in exile aren't gone forever, but they are considered to be quite hard to get back. So I personally really like this card. I'm so happy with its design, and this is actually a card I've been wanting Wizards of the Coast to make for a while. However, it is not as good as some people believe it is. If you resolve this spell, the chance of this killing your free opponents is quite low, and when I say killing your free opponents, exiling all of their wincons. And the chance of this actually having an impact in the game is also quite limited. Let's do some field testing. Here we are inside Mox Field playtest, where we have a typical deck you might run into, Blue Farm with Tuna and Crom. So let's say that the first 7 cards we have here are the ones that we've exiled so far with our amazing spell. So here we have Grand Abolisher, that's 2, here's another one, 3, 5, got a really good hit, Underworld Breach 7, and then Jeska's Will, that's 10, so let's get 13, that is really good, getting rid of that thing, getting rid of Sevin's Reclamation, didn't really have an impact because we've already exiled Breach, up to 16, we are 18, and Brain Freeze 20. This was basically removing the Underworld Breach combo and some bad cards that aren't important anymore because we've already exiled Breach. But Tuna Crom are still able to win with the Mother Consultation and Fastest Oracle. We just made it a little bit harder for them to win. 18 and stop there. Okay, here's a good example. We didn't really hit that much. We hit an odd nos and we did hit Psycrift. That was really key and really good. I'm gonna explain why in a second later. But we didn't really hit key things. We haven't really removed their capabilities of winning with this hit. In fact, they are, in my opinion, a bit unaffected in their terms of winning. But we did hit Psycrift, that's gonna be important later. Let's do another one. Time Twister, and let's just, yeah. Same thing here. This was, in my opinion, a mediocre hit. You did hit Ad Nauseam. That is good, but Ad Nauseam is not a wincon. They can still assemble some wincons. We didn't hit any. We hit one tutor here. We hit some wheels and some value card draw, but they can still find their breach. They can still go for Fasa in this. Let's do one more just to see here. Yeah, pretty same thing here. We did hit Pier, but Pier is not the key. Pier is just an assembler. We did hit a tutor. We did hit Psycrift, that's great. We did hit Sevines, doesn't really matter. We did hit Dockside, but we still haven't hit important things. Here we have Ashiok Dream Render, a great stacks walker. He will make it impossible for your opponents to search, and he will also remove graveyards. Just wipe them away. Cleaning house, really good versus all of these graveyard strategies. But he will also mill away, or he will exile a few cards from your opponent's libraries as well. But that is just the bonus effect. That is a cute thing that is helping you rip apart your opponent's decks. But the main focus with this is the anti-search and anti-graveyard. He is doing something with the actual board state. This is not actually affecting your opponent's board state. It is not improving your board state either in any form of way. There is simply a fact that this could whiff, simply hit nothing and not really affecting your opponents at all. But there is still a great merit to this card, and I would like to explain where I think this is going to see play. And I really like Ashiok up here, because this is a great weapon Stacks needs. Killing your opponents with stacks is really hard and tricky. Ashiok might be one of the only things that are killing or destroying things. In fact, stacks are only good at preventing or holding people back. But it's not good at killing, except, well, Hate Bears are attacking and killing opponents, but killing your opponents with a 40 life total times 3 is really tricky, and it's really never plan A. It's something like, something down the line, if your own combo doesn't work out. I want to emphasize this so much. Stacks are never able to really gridlock or prevent people from playing the game completely. Sure, you're going to shut them down a bit, making it hard to progress forward, but eventually they are going to figure out a way to get rid of your stuff, either with a big cooling ritual or a overloaded cyclonic rift. And when they wipe the board is clean and they are free to unload their victory. Your stacks needs to lead towards a combo finisher, but this is where this card comes into use, because this is destroying your opponent's cards and removing them. And that is why I was so happy when I was able to remove Cycrift during the field test experiment. And this effect can be stacked up. If you're playing a stacks deck, you might already play Ashok Dream Render, and maybe you're playing Ragavan Nimble Pilferer as well. I love that little tiny monkey. And with the accumulated capability of ripping your opponent's decks to shreds while you're gridlocking them with stacks effects, you're controlling them with lockdown cards, you might be able to make it impossible for your opponents to win, while they're just sitting there unable to interact with your board state because you've removed the Cycrift and that cooling ritual, and they are unable to win because your stacks cards are holding them back. So you need to make this good. You need to synergize with it with your other cards and your game plan in general to make this have an impact. Just casting this on its own from a whatever blue control deck isn't really going to do it. But here is another really important thing to consider for your control stacks deck. Are you going to win, or are you going to sit there and watch people's cards disappear, which isn't guaranteed to secure a win? When you're playing control stacks decks, you're usually down to a 1-card combo, and if you can get that 1 card to resolve, you win the game. So just make sure that you are able to securely resolve that spell and you're fine. This card isn't helping you with that at all. This is not a combo piece that wins the game, unless you're able to cast this infinitely, of course. But casting this infinitely, I mean, you could replace this with a lightning bolt or a swan song and cast that infinitely instead. Let's take me for example, and let's use one of my signature stacks decks, my signature deck in general, cEDH, as an example. Am I going to include this inside cEDH? The answer is no, because cEDH's game plan are quite functional already. I'm using a few stacks pieces to just slow down the game, making it hard for my opponents to progress forward, delaying them simply. Then I have a whole bunch of various 1-card combos that wins efficiently and when I want to. I don't need this. I don't need to shred some of my opponent's cards. I just need to secure my cEDH win instead. But here I have a completely different commander stacks deck of mine, Yeleva. You've actually never seen me play this because it usually takes 2 hours to win the game, and I'm not gonna bring that onto people watching my stream. I actually have a deck tech video of this that I'm not gonna showcase because it's really old and therefore it has a really bad quality. Everyone begins somewhere, and the first videos I made weren't as good as this. The deck actually had an incredible good win rate. The only problem was that it just took so long to win those games. The game plan was super clean, super straightforward, and functioned really well. It was a stacks deck filled with blood moons, back to basics, spells that were making it impossible for your opponents to do things in general, and then just a lot of ramp, and the wincon was to cast Yeleva over and over. It was commander-centric deck, where the entire deck was focused around the commander, but it didn't care if my opponents killed the commander. In fact, it wanted to be killed. I played a lot of board wipes to basically remove all creatures because dying to combat damage was a problem for this, but the board wipes helped me kill Yeleva so I could recast it. The entire game plan was to kill my opponents with Yeleva. Yes, truly. And it worked marvelously because the stacks made it hard for your opponents to progress forward, it delayed them, it made their gameplay sluggishly, while I was sitting there and ripping away key cards they needed. So even if they were getting rid of my stacks cards, trying to combo off was hard because Yeleva had been exiling their combo pieces. And this card is gonna be a big upgrade for that kind of strategy, because this is gonna be a big nuke, just having a huge impact for free mana for that kind of deck. And that is the kind of deck you need to make this card function. You don't need to play Yeleva specifically, there are a lot of other decks that could function with this in form of stacks and control. To give you an example, here's Krark and Sakashima Iset, which means you have 2 Krarks. Now they create a really interesting effect where you can cast a spell, you're going to roll 2 dice, which means that you could get one result where this is going back to your hand, and the other result is that you're making a copy of this, which means that you're getting the effect, but it's going back to your hand, which means you can recast it for another 20 set of CMC value exile. I'm not specifically playing this deck myself, so I don't really know if this is what they wanna do. I think they have some really good options as well already, but here is a way that you could make this spell functional in a cool way. But I do believe that a lot of people are gonna be playtesting this card quite a lot for a while, because this looks fun and it has a really gambly feeling. I mean, you could sit there and just go, please exile everything, please exile everything, and that could be really fun. So I think this is gonna be a fun card that a lot of people just wanna test. And then I actually believe people are going to cut this card from their deck after they have been playtesting with it for a little while. Because it is fun, it is doing a good job, but I think they're just better cards for your strategy in general. But is it cEDH viable? Yes, it is truly cEDH viable. If you build your deck around that card, you can make it work. I personally hope that they make more card variations like this, because I would personally enjoy if the metagame would be moving a little bit towards this. That's it for me. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.